I grew up on the corner of Madison and Central in Chicago, West Side Chicago. And I'm just telling you this is to set the stage so you know where I'm coming from. From the time I was about 6th grade up until the time I 20 years old when I got married, you know. I was a corner guy. There was a bunch of us that grew up on this corner, hung out together. When I say grew up, we hung out on the corner of Madison Central. And we're all friends, you know, but a big group of guys, you know, we'll call them the guys from the corner, okay. Now within this group of guys, okay, there was a few of us that decided to make our own club within this greater group. And we called ourselves the Big Seven. Now you might say the Big Seven, okay, that's all right, you know. The only thing is that within this Big Seven, there were only 5 of us. And I can't think that, as I'm thinking back, I don't think that we called ourselves the Big Seven when there were only 5 because we were leaving room for 2 more guys to come in, to be invited in. I don't think that was a question. Anyway, I'm setting the stage here because I see how people change. Okay, let's talk about 2 of the Big Seven, 2 of my guys. Okay, there was one guy, and I'm not going to mention names now. If he was in school, let's say, and this could have been 7th, 8th grade, high school, you know, if the teacher would ask him how much 2 and 2 was, okay, he might look at her in the face and smile and say, 2 and 2, that would be 5. Because he didn't want the teacher to have the satisfaction of knowing that she was teaching him something. Now the teacher would say, you say 5, huh? 2 and 2, okay, maybe you want to give some thought and rethink that answer. And then the smile would come off from his face, okay, and he would look her straight in the face, okay, and he would say, 2 and 2 is 5, deal with it. But now, this guy, he's still a good friend of mine, you know, he's changed. He's not like he was then. He's not edgy. He can talk about economics, about government, about markets. Back in those days, all he knew was he was a great third baseman, a great ball player, you know. He was a good athlete, you know, football, baseball, whatever, you know. And now he still is, you know. He's still a good athlete, weightlifts and all that, but he's not edgy, okay? He doesn't have an attitude. He's kind of, you know, he's kind of like a person that talks at a very, very high level, you know, which is good, you know. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying that's good. Okay, now we've got another friend of mine, friend of ours, okay. This guy was also a very good ball player, terrific ball player, okay. Shot pool, good pool player, played billiards, good billiard player, shot dice. All around good guy, okay. And then he gets married, okay, and he opens up a business, okay, and he opened up his business was like a coin-operated dry cleaner and laundry, and then you got the machines there, you know, you put the money in the machines and do it yourself. But if you didn't want to touch some of the filter of your clothes, you can give him $1 or $2 extra, you know, pay a little extra, and they touch the filth for you, okay. Now, this guy has become like an intellect. I mean, he reads magazines, newspapers, he can tell you what a philosopher said 200 years ago, and he quotes this and he quotes that, and he listens to the talking heads on television, and he can tell you anything you want to know about philosophy, about great writings from these philosophers, economic guys and market guys, and who knows what the hell he's even talking about, what he's listening to. But he even says he's an intellectual, okay? That may be well and good, but this guy, this guy cleaned road tracks in people's jockey shorts. He scrubbed it out, you know, trying to get them clean, you know, and when they didn't want to touch it, he did it. Where the hell's he coming from? You know, he doesn't remember those days. He doesn't remember mopping the floor up when the machines overflowed because people put too much soap in the machines, or getting pissed at the people because they tried to put coloring dye in the machines to dye some of their clothes different colors, or when they put drachmas or slugs, if they did, into the coin-operated machines. Or when a lady would come back, we'd give them a gown to clean, you know, maybe a size 10, and she'd come back and it was a size 6, and ready she's getting huffy and she's going to sue him for this real expensive $1,000 gown, even though she might have paid $6.99 for it at a resale shop, $6.99. Or when somebody drops off 5 shirts to be cleaned and they come back and he can only find 2 of them. He doesn't remember where he came from, you know. And now I try to tell him, I says, you know, stop with this intellectual stuff. I says, you know, go back to where you were when you were on the corner of Madison and Central. When, you know, and he tells me, he says, you know, he says, you're right, he says, but I can't stop reading these things. I can't stop listening to this. I can't stop being an intellectual. And I guess what I'm saying is, this guy's hooked. He's an intellectual junkie. He's a junkie. He's an addict. Okay. Now, here's what I think about when I'm thinking about these intellectuals. Just a little sidestep here. You hear these guys, these talking heads. They can tell you about the government, about the society, about this and about that, about economics, so on and so forth. They got answers for everything. I think that before we listen to them, they should show us their shorts. You know, their jockey shorts. Because listen, figure this out. Think about this, or maybe you don't want to think about it. If a guy's got, if a guy shows you his shorts and they're all stained, you know, all kind of road tracks at the bottom of his shorts, you know, you might not want to be interested in what he's got to say about the markets or about the economy. You might want to think maybe you want to listen, but on the other hand, the pictures of his jockey shorts keep going through your mind, and you're thinking to yourself, rather than listen, maybe I should go puke. Or maybe this fool has turned his shorts inside out, so he gets 2 days wear out of them. Which, I don't want to insult anybody out there. But if any of you are doing that, you know, no, come on, you know, you don't want to do that. So I think that before we listen to these people, you know, that we hold in such high regard about the economics and society and all kind of governmental things and policy and politics and who knows what the hell we do, let's look at their shorts. That would qualify them to give advice.